Interpretation channels have been started, so if everybody could please choose their preferred language. Even if you speak English, you will have to choose the English channel. All right.
Oh, good. So now I really need to slow down.
Jetzt brauche ich
So I am going to just give you, as I speed up, an overview of what I'm going to do.
Ich gebe euch erstmal,
We're going to plunge almost right into an activity
was wir heute machen.
where you will need to make a choice.
In einer Aktivität.
And that will set you up for something I learned through my parenting education phase of my life.
Was ich gelernt
Something from
habe,
Adler's and
meine
Alfred
Arbeit mit
Adler and
Eltern.
Rudolf Dreikurs, their approach to human behavior and
Also
parenting.
das ist der Ansatz von Alfred Adler und
Then we'll go into a
Dreikurs
breakout room
über Verhaltensweisen.
and we'll get sorted by our lifestyle priority.
Also wir werden in den
I will
Räumen
explain that a little
arbeiten
bit
und das
beforehand.
wiederum wird sortiert sein nach
Then we'll have some
Lebens-Lifestyle-Ansätzen.
discussion in the large room
Wir haben
and
auch eine
possibly
im
a
großen Raum
technological experiment that
und
I'm
ich hoffe,
going
dass
to
die Technik
explain
funktioniert.
if there's time. So with that said, so I'd like you to imagine you're waking up
Ich bitte dich, dir
and your eyes aren't even
vorzustellen,
quite open yet,
dass du gerade aufwachst und die
but you
Augen noch
know
nicht
you're
ganz
about
auf
to wake up. And you start realizing what you have to do that day.
und dir fällt ein, was du heute so zu tun hast.
And then you realize you have a heck of a lot to do,
Und dann
That
fällt dir auf,
day.
oh Gott, du hast total viel zu tun.
more than you could do in
Mehr
a
als
week
du an dem Tag schaffen kannst.
or a month, let alone a day.
Nicht alles an diesem Tag.
Can anyone relate to that?
Kann irgendjemand sich das vorstellen? Hebt mal die Hand.
Yes, so look around, keep your hand up for a second,
Haltet eure Hand
and you
mal
might even want to scroll through the screen. I'm
Und
not going to do that,
rollt mal durch
but I would
die
love
Bilder.
to see. I see every hand on this screen raised, my goodness.
Und ihr werdet sehen, alle Hände auf diesem
So
sind gehoben.
how do you feel when you have that thought? What? Now,
Wie
I
fühlt
would like you to go
an,
back
wenn
because
du
I
diesen
know
Gedanken hast?
most of us have been working with Alexander technique
Also ich weiß, dass
for a long time.
die meisten
At least that's my
sehr
impression
lange mit
when I
Alexander
see everyone
arbeiten.
in the coffee room and in the classes. But what is your first automatic go-to mode? If you were really stressed and you,
Erster automatischer
maybe not stressed, if you were just going on automatic, let me take that back.
Bist. Was ist so der
What would you do?
die Gewohnheit?
How would you feel? What is going on for you?
Wie fühlt es sich an?
So for me, my automatic response is to get anxious and to
Die
start
automatische Reaktion, Angst zu
pulling in more things
und dann gehe ich noch in
that I
noch mehr
also
Dinge
need to
rein.
do. And if I really don't catch myself,
Und wenn ich mich da nicht wieder
I
einfange,
might start doing a Sudoku puzzle and think, oh, I have to do this first.
dann mache ich erstmal
And then I might start doing research.
und dann
And I might get someone else's opinion.
alles zu untersuchen.
And then
Frag andere Leute nach ihrer Meinung.
at the last minute, I will just do it.
Und in letzter
That's me.
Minute mache ich es
I
einfach.
don't do that anymore all the time,
Das
but
bin
if
ich.
I am
Ich mache es
overloaded,
nicht mehr jedes
I
Mal.
might do that. Might be very different for each of us. So
Das ist für uns alle
with
sicherlich,
that in mind, we're going to launch in this little activity. This is from
wenn wir das
my
im Kopf haben, dann gehen wir in
um,
Aktivität.
parenting education background.
Das kommt
So
aus meiner
I
Elternteil
started
Jungs aus.
teaching Alexander Technique in '88. Took me a long time to decide to do it
Alexander-Technik seit
because
88
I got
schon.
introduced to it in '78.
Also
Takes me a long time
78
sometimes to do
hatte ich schon
something.
den ersten Kontakt zur Alexander-Technik.
Then, and I was pregnant at the time
Ich war zu der
in my
Zeit
training, which was really wonderful.
während meines
And
Trainings.
then I had this
Toll.
child
Und
who
dann
was wonderful too, until my behavior wasn't so wonderful.
also mein
And so
Verhalten
I
zu der
was
Zeit war
fortunate to take parenting classes based on the ideas of Adler and Dreikurs.
Also habe ich selber an einer
Maybe some of you are familiar with it.
nach den Ideen von
It's become
Adler
quite common. Positive discipline in the US is known, and it's based on the same ideas. So this activity comes from, community education classes.
Also die Aktivität kommt aus diesen
And when I came across it, I
Gemeinschaft.
felt so at home because of the congruence with Alexander Technique. So
Und
enough
es hat
about
eine
that for
sehr
now.
große
We can
Deckung mit der
ask
Aktivität.
questions later. Let's start with this activity.
Lass
So,
mit der
I
Aktivität.
don't know if you've been wondering, but I brought some presents.
Ihr wundert euch vielleicht, ich
Here they
habe
are,
ein paar Geschenke dabei.
and they are really wonderful,
Das sind tolle
except,
Geschenke.
have you ever had a present that you really don't want?
Hat jeder von euch schon mal ein Geschenk
Well, you want,
bekommen,
I would be surprised if you
was
want
ihr
any
gar
of
nicht
these.
haben wolltet?
Here's one.
Oh, hier ist das erste.
Here's another.
Schmerz und Stress.
This is yet another.
Das zweite.
I'm sorry. I didn't get these. They
Ablehnung.
just
und
came in the
Verzicht.
mail. Not my doing. Here
Das
they are.
dritte. Kritik und Spott.
So
Und das
take a moment
vierte.
and look at them. This is
Bedeutungslosigkeit
not good stuff.
und ja, fehlende
There's good
Wichtigkeit.
news though. You get to return one of them. Just one though.
Du darfst eins davon zurückgeben.
First one that comes to mind.
Das erste,
Don't overthink. Which
in
one looks worst to you?
das, was für dich am schlimmsten erscheint.
I know which one does to me, but I'm not going to
Ich
tell you.
weiß, welches das für mich ist.
So the thing is, we deal with all of these things, of course.
Wir haben all diese Dinge in
If you have trouble
Leben.
choosing, just pick the one that came to mind first.
Also wenn du dich nicht
Does
entscheiden
anyone need more
kannst, nimm
time?
einfach das, was dir als allererstes in den Sinn kam.
No?
Braucht jemand noch mehr Zeit?
Maybe this is a blue hand situation if you need more time.
Wenn
Because I
du
can't see the
Zeit
whole
brauchst,
screen.
vielleicht hebst du deine blaue Hand in der Teilnehmerliste.
No one needs more time?
Okay, ich glaube, es
Okay.
haben sich alle entschieden.
So I'm going to reveal something. On the other side of this
Ändere
one
das hier nochmal.
is something that Alexander called, oh, I have to do this way. All of these things are stuff that we don't want. On
Alles
the other
Dinge,
side is the stuff
wir
that we are
eigentlich
looking for,
haben wollen. Und auf
a
der
lifestyle
Rückseite
priority,
sind die Dinge,
something that is really important to us
die wir
in
haben,
our life and how we make our
die
choices.
wirklich wichtig für uns sind. unsere
how we
Priorität,
do our life.
so wie wir unser Leben leben wollen.
So it's not really a label, it's a way of how we respond to our life.
Also es ist kein Label, kein Preisschild, sondern es ist eine Art und Weise, wie wir auf
Just as
unser
with
Leben
Alexander
reagieren.
technique. It's very simple. Alexander technique is tremendously simple.
Alexander,
We're making a choice.
ist furchtbar einfach. Wir machen
We're pausing, we make a choice with a positive intent, and we let that guide our behavior.
Wir machen eine
And there's a lot
Pause, wir machen
to learning it and
eine
teaching it
Entscheidung
and doing it.
über Intention.
This is a very simple activity, and there is a lot of depth to it as well.
Das ist eine ganz einfache
So
Aktivität mit
if it
ganz,
seems
ganz viel
simplistic,
Tiefe.
let's just go with it. I hope
Ja.
I do their work justice.
Lass uns damit arbeiten.
Rudolf Dreikurs and Alfred Adler.
Und ich hoffe, dass ich der Arbeit von
So
Adler
now
Dreikurs gerecht werde damit.
you have your priorities figured out. I want you to remember what they are, because we are going into breakout rooms. I
Erinnert euch nochmal an die Priorität.
would like you in the breakout rooms to talk. I'm looking for the questions that I want to have you
In den Gruppenräumen bitte
think about,
gleich
just as a discussion starter.
folgende Fragen.
The breakout rooms you will be with,
verwenden.
if you have chosen comfort, everybody else in the breakout room will have comfort
Also ihr
as their
seid
same priority.
im Gruppenraum mit den
So
Leuten,
also
die
with
gleiche
pleasing,
Priorität haben wie ihr.
so also with control and with significance. And there are also breakout rooms with these terms translated into German and French.
Also das ist Komfort,
So you get to choose your room,
erfreulich und annehmen,
and it is important that you
Kontrolle
choose
und
your own lifestyle priority,
und ihr wählt eure Lebenswege.
because you will be amongst your own kind, so to speak.
Also ihr seid unter euch.
So in the breakout room, you might want to take, you might want to have a timekeeper and a, what do you call it, note taker,
Also es ist gut,
because
wenn jemand
you'll have 15
Gruppenraum
minutes
hat,
to talk,
der Zeitwächter ist und Protokoll führt.
and then one of you will report back to the big room and will
Und
discuss
eine
and ask questions further.
dann in den großen Raum zurückberichtet, was ihr diskutiert habt.
I'm not doing a very good job at keeping my eye on the translators, interpreters.
Also ich bin
So I
gerade
hope I'm not going too
unachtsam, ob
fast.
die
It'll be
Übersetzer
okay as long as you
mitkommen.
just continue to go slowly.
Okay. So in the breakout rooms, here are some ideas
Hier sind einige Fragen
for your discussion.
für eure Diskussion.
Basically 3 things, and you can take it from there. The first one is, what is so bad about the thing that you're trying to avoid? So if you try to avoid criticism and ridicule, if that's the worst to you, you pick that as what you are returning to the
Also die
store.
erste Frage ist,
What is so bad
schlecht
about that for you?
über das Ding, was du da ablehnst?
The second thing might be, what is your response? Talk about it with each other about what do you do? How do you operate?
Was ist deine Reaktion darauf?
And
Wie handelst du?
I think that's enough to start with. So go ahead and pick your breakout rooms. You'll have 15 minutes.
It might be depending on
Or B.
what Zoom you have, what version of Zoom you have. If you don't have the most recent version, you might not be able to pick one.
No, I have the most recent version and mine's not available either.
Mine too.
Yes.
I just updated.
Me too. Most
Only,
recent.
only control is showing.
Yeah, I updated about half an hour ago, so, and I can't see
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
All right. How do we do this?
Who's
Okay.
left?
Well, it's working for some because some people have chosen.
You can
Um,
send us, we can tell you and you can send us.
Yeah.
um, let
Oh,
me,
there's still quite, there's 3 pages of people left.
yes. So it might be helpful if you can,
We could put a number by our name.
maybe that's it. I'm just, if you all put it in the chat at the same time, there's 58 of you. And so it might take me a minute to assign all of you.
So put a number in the chat room. Is that what we're doing?
And what does the number represent?
We haven't gotten there yet, Fran.
No, hang on. Rename yourself with your lifestyle priority, with pleasing,
Yes.
with comfort, with
Yes.
control, or importance. Significance. Sorry, significance. Importance is fine too.
Great.
Antoinette, did you discuss how to find the breakout rooms?
No,
There's
I believe Riley did. The squares at the bottom.
Okay, great. I was in a different space when that happened. I was in another room trying to enter another room.
Riley, can you say it again to people? Can they hear you if you say it to everyone?
To everyone that I haven't assigned yet, yes, there should be 4 squares in the bottom of your, like it would be next to your language interpretation in reaction. And it'll say breakout room. If you click on that, then a little list will come up and you can pick your room. If you don't see that, I am slowly sending you to each of your rooms based upon the name. Hey, Morgan, are there any people in the chat that have said what they want to go to? I'm just wondering as I'm assigning, some people still haven't changed their names.
Yeah, Karen, Karin Heisika, I'm not sure that I'm saying that correctly, wants to go to significance. Tell me when you're ready for the next one.
And I don't see that in here, so maybe she did change her name.
Okay. Helen, her last name starts with CH. She wants to go to pleasing.
She isn't pleasing.
I'm actually trying to join on another device because that will have the version that I can pick the breakout room. So I don't know if that's complicating matters at all.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. You come in as 2 different people. It doesn't matter. Zoom doesn't.
Okay,
care.
because I'm in the waiting room right now on the other computer.
Oh,
Okay. Hey, I don't see you there in the waiting room.
Because I have the welcome message, but okay.
I'm sorry.
That might be
It's
some-
okay.
Am I the only one left here?
No, I'm still here as well.
Okay, let me change my name
We've been
then.
abandoned, you know.
Okay.
Oh,
Still right there.
Slowly but surely, I'm placing you in your homes. I have to do it individually, and there's 60 of you. So
Thank you, Riley.
thank you for your patience. I love when technology does not play nice. Okay, everybody else who's still in here, I don't see anything behind their names.
Riley, can I continue with my list here for you?
Yes.
Shannon Lee Jones would like to be in control.
Great.
Chica Robertson would like to be in control. Please forgive me if I have said your name incorrectly. Jenny Grad would like to be in significance.
Great.
Jano Cohen would like to be in control. That's all I see here. Hang on. Yeah. Someone has renamed themselves pleasing. We'd like the name to be after your own name, please, so that we can keep things straight. Debbie Young would like to be in control. Dorit would also like to be in control.
So some people are not showing up on my list, which is interesting.
But they can also self-select a group, is that right?
They should be able to. So maybe it might be why they're not showing up on my list. If they're able to.
That makes sense. Eve Solomon would like to be in significance.
Yeah, Eve, I don't have you on my list.
I'm just Eve. It just comes down Eve M for some reason.
Eve, did you already choose your breakout room?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Kathleen Jewell would like to be in comfort. Her last name is Juhl. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're learning this as we go.
Riley, you won't see me here because I've been placed into control without choosing control. So if you look in the breakout rooms.
Okay, Marco, what would you like?
Pleasing.
Pleasing.
Thank you.
I see that.
Hello. Hi. This is Eve here. I got a thing saying to go into a breakout room, and I was the only person there. Control, it said. So could you put me into significance? Okay, thank you.
And Dorit likes to go to control.
Okay.
Dorit Vered.
Seems some people may have chosen on their own.
They might have.
Would like to go into control, you said?
Dorit says control next to her name.
Excuse me. Thanks, Riley.
And Paulina M, significance.
Okay. Let me see if I can find. It's placing some people automatically into a room.
Maybe because the rooms have gotten full, you might need an addition.
I think it might be because we set them up to begin with and then changed them, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I think that for the most part.
Paulina M.
Yeah,
significance.
I did send her. I think she'll have to accept it.
Ah, okay. Can we suggest it to her?
She might have walked away.
Okay. And then Andrew Lijoy, Lijoi, Lijoi, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that we've seen where Andrew would like to go.
Okay. And Karen Braga.
Have you seen anything from her, Morgan?
No, but I'm looking. Hold on a moment.
I don't know why it prompted some and it didn't prompt others.
It's unfortunate.
It is.
Oh.
It was set up for people to be able to choose their own, but before I had to force my Zoom to uninstall and reinstall because I did not have breakout room options. But when I uninstalled it and then reinstalled it, I did have breakout rooms. So
Okay.
Wait, I have, so, thank you. Fiona, are you in the significance room?
I think Fiona is laying on her couch.
Makes good sense.
I see Karen Braga's name and screen up here, but I haven't heard from her that I can see.
Fiona's picture is here in the main room.
I'll just
Right.
assign them. Oh, but I think they do have to.
Oh, I have timer right on below my screen. This is good.
Oh, I think Morgan went into a breakout room. That's good. I was going to.
So shall I wait here or shall I enter a room?
Go, be comfortable.
But then you need to give me comfort, please.
Yes.
Let me find you.
So I think part of what's
You
happening
want
right now.
comfort German or comfort English?
Both. If comfort German are people, then I also
Antoinette,
take the German
just to be
one. If it's
clear,
empty, I take
Yes.
the English.
It seems to me that people are already in breakout rooms discussing
the pandemic because of whatever. All of a sudden you're under stress and it is out of your control. So yeah, maybe I should be in a different place too. But I always felt like loss of control. I guess the thing about comfort is all of those other things to me cause pain and stress. Abandonment cause pain and stress. Loss of control cause pain and stress. Insignificance causes pain and stress. So then what are you really looking for? Comfort to all the crap. So what's,
pain isn't all bad, stress isn't all bad. Those unfortunate people that don't feel pain usually don't live very long, because they don't avoid things that are disastrous for them. Stress can be motivating. Too much can drag you down, yes, but when you go to a performance, it's different from practice.
mm-hmm.
That's a positive side of stress.
And for me, when I'm feeling some of these harder ones, it's usually just a feedback of what different choices could I make? Sometimes there's external stressors that there's nothing I can do about, but I can always take care of myself in a relationship too. Although there are hard life things that happen that lead to all these different emotions that were listed, it still feels like always a reflection on oneself. Not that I'd be happy go lucky all the time, but just how do we work with things?
I guess when I was thinking of pain, I just assumed emotional pain since it went with stress. The physical pain, of course, can be stressful.
You guys, we have about 7 minutes left, so we may want to move on to the second question, which we kind of touched on already. What is your response?
Thank you.
What is your response to pain and stress? And does that include how do you comfort yourself? Or what comforts you?
I actually get super controlling when I'm really stressed out or emotional. I want to control everything. Usually I can't, and so that then just keeps going and going.
Then
Yeah, pain and stress make me get very locked down, rigid, controlling, short-tempered. Y'all that don't know me are going, I don't want to meet this girl.
No, I can relate to all those.
It's kind of a joke between my husband and I, but when I get stressed or am in an emotionally painful situation, my first responses are definitely to eat, and if I have enough time, to take a nap. Never fails. And then I feel so much better, and then I tackle the problem. So it does give me, like, recharges me physically to handle what I need to do. Usually something needs to be handled, but those are my first responses to stress and pain.
I think I go into like hyper analysis and research mode. Like I start making lists, I start breaking things apart, not physically, but like I try to break the problem apart, or if it's an interpersonal thing, like with my husband, I go into full analysis, which usually is about how to blame him and not me.
Of course.
And justification, right? So
That's what gives you the stress.
Does that bring you comfort?
No.
It's just the first response?
Yeah. But I think it is on the road to comfort, because once I can see all the data, maybe it helps me realize how I can move past the data, that the data doesn't matter.
I don't think my reactions bring me comfort. That's why I wanted that comfort gift.
Oh. Yeah.
I often think, how do people cope, especially like right now? I have, the normal stressors in my life, and then a couple of big family events that are stressors, and then COVID, and then the election, which I'm very concerned about as well, and all of which are outside my control. So for me, it is, my initial response, like Kristen, is to try to fix it, control it, make something happen. Which always makes a tightening in my body. Next step is to recognize I don't have control, and to begin to make changes in my body and make changes in the way that I view the situation. So, and a little bit like, who was that who was saying, Bridget, was that you said, you make lists, is that if I can break it down and do one thing, I can start to feel better. But if I don't start with Alexander, I'm lost.
What Alexander principle do you think you gravitate to first?
Oh boy, that's a good question. That my primary coordination is at the center of my body's organization. And then I can get calm enough to see the big picture instead of being caught up in minutia. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think what I'm reflecting on now is I think all my lists and analysis actually lead me to feeling overwhelmed pretty quickly. And yeah, for me, it's hitting the pause button as soon as I can in the awareness process that helps me.
And for me, I have to hit that pause button 20 to 900 times.
So you think you have to let yourself feel almost whatever the original stressor was, then take it to a higher level in order to, like, too much, then you can pull back from it, almost. Just really turn the heat up. Because it seems like it's like step one on your process. Yeah.
So no, it's a good question. And the thing that I'm coming to is, I think as I'm doing all of that, I'm not sure that I ever pause and totally acknowledge. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, uh-oh, I'm stressed, I better do something about it. So I think I might be avoiding or using Alexander as a way to avoid, you know, acknowledging what's really going on now that I think about it.
Whoa. That's good stuff.
Well, it's actually a Jenny's question. I've never thought about it that way.
My mother always says that she has to touch bottom when she's in a spiral, that she has to do exactly what you said, Jenny, take it to the extreme, and then she can like level out, which is not something I want to do.
I'm telling you, try taking a nap next time you feel really stressed. It feels good.
I can't sleep when I'm really stressed. I can eat, but that doesn't bring me any comfort or help.
I think one of my biggest problems is I am almost never aware of being stressed.
Oh, wow.
I'm not aware of being stressed out, which is why I relate to what you said, Jana, of maybe I'm using other coping mechanisms to avoid actually acknowledging that I'm stressed out and calling it other things like overwhelmed or angry.
So like in piano, my teacher has me do this exercise that's supposed to elicit a reflex. And when I started doing it, the reflex wouldn't happen. And it was just because my muscles were so tight that I couldn't release them. And so then when I started doing it, I just started feeling how much the stress came all the way up here from my fingers, all the way up my arm to my neck. And I'm like, I never realized I was constantly that stressed until I had to do a reflexive action and I couldn't do it. It's just like I had to train patterns of relaxation in order to feel when the stress kicked in. And I think that's why I was really trying to avoid stress, because you just carry it in your body and you don't know it's there. Weird. Is our time up?
During the night.
Oh, yes, when you're supposed to be relaxing to go to sleep and you're like, I can't unlock. I can't do it.
Or you wake up and then you can't go back to sleep.
No.
Wake at 3 a.m.
Jana, is our time up?
Yeah, it's
Am I
about
saying your name wrong?
It's Jana.
I knew it.
Short A. I answer to anything. In South Florida, people very often pronounce it Yana or Hana.
Yana.
Those are pretty names too, so I answer to all of them.
Thanks for that quote, Bob.
Yeah, we came to our room about 23 after. So yeah, we should go back.
I don't know how.
Oh, okay. So if we go down to the bottom of the screen, you slide your cursor down. I'm on a computer.
Wait.
Oh.
First, we should decide who is reporting in the room.
Was it you, Jenny?
Sure.
I thought you said you were on your computer so you could record.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been taking notes, except for the last bit where we had like free conversation. That I forgot to take notes on. But the first stuff I got.
No stress.
So anyway, is that good with you? I forgot who asked that. Sabine?
I asked, and it's very good.
Okay, good. So if we're going to leave the room, we slide our cursors down to the bottom of the page, and there's a little button on the right that says leave room.
Okay, are you ready for me to end the breakout rooms, or do you want me to give them a warning? They're coming back anyway.
Yeah, they're coming back. They're good timekeepers.
They are. Okay, I'll go ahead and close them and force everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm seeing different faces, which is nice.
Giving them a 60-second window to wrap up, and then they'll be back in.
Jana, you're in Florida, right? I can't unmute you, but nice to see you.
Janet, you mean?
Jana Tift.
Oh, Janet, yes. I'm actually in Canada.
You know who I mean, Jana Tift.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Riley, I had to reselect my language when I came back from the breakout room. I don't know if anybody, probably everybody else has to.
Yes.
And Riley, can you allow multi-pin again, because it's off after the breakout?
Is it? Okay, sorry. I received a call from Mary Lou during that, so I'm going to need to call her back and see.
Thank you.
I'm here. I'm just pinning. Where's the other person I need to pin? Where's Manuel?
Still in. I would say still in the breakout.
Okay. So, as you gather back, I will find Manuel later. You can take a little moment to take a breath. To me, it feels really like I'm in a different space now. But you probably are in your own room. So I'm actually still getting used to the day. It's earlier here than where some people are. And could I see the whole screen, Riley? I'd like to see everybody rather than myself.
Yes, you can choose gallery view.
Oh, I thought I was spotlit and it made me go. I thought I'd.
You were, but you can still choose gallery view.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. It's cold here. I have not been able to turn on the heat.
So hence the
sweater.
Die Heizung noch nicht eingeschaltet.
So how are you doing? I would love to hear
Also, ich möchte mal
what
hören,
the
wie
discussion
war's
was
denn?
about. So there were a lot of groups, and what I would like to do is have one volunteer for the, how about comfort?
Gab viele Gruppen und ich
And
hätte
if
jetzt gerne
one
mal
spokesperson
den oder die
for a
erste
group that had
Freiwillige
comfort
für
as
die
its
Gruppe Comfort.
lifestyle priority.
Also
And
Komfort
let me
als
hear what, or let us
Lifestyle-Priorität.
all hear, what are some of the things that came up for you in your group in the discussion?
Was sind die Dinge, die bei euch
Hello.
gekommen sind?
My name is Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
And I'll be reporting for the comfort group. So in regards to the first discussion question, what is so bad about the thing that we're trying to avoid?
Also zur
Some
ersten
of our
Frage.
answers revolved around the fact that it's always there. Stress and pain
Also
always seem
die
to be
Hauptantwort
there.
ist, es ist einfach immer da, der
It's
Stress.
something that can linger very deeply in your body tissues, in your psyche.
Und du
It can rob you of your
spürst
sleep
sehr
and
tief in
therefore make it
deinem
harder to
ja, Tischu, in
respond
deinem
to the
Gewebe
stressors.
und in deinem Geist.
Another person threw out the word omnipresent. And on top of that, it seems like a lot of times the stress is something that's placed on you. Of course, sometimes you
Ja,
can
es
seek
fühlt
it,
sich auch
but
so
there
an,
are
als
other
wenn der
times where
Stress
it's placed on you.
ja, zu dir kommt,
And
auf
that
dir
is
abgelegt wird,
another stressor on top of the thing itself.
kommt einfach noch oben drauf.
And sometimes that it comes in cycles, like
Manchmal kommt
particularly holidays or elections or things like that, but again, things that are unavoidable.
Spiralen in
And
Zirkeln und
regarding what is your response,
nicht zu
we were a
verhindern.
bit all over the place with responses.
Can you pause just a moment? I want to make sure that others are getting this, and I can't see the interpreters right now. So would you like a moment for interpreting? I can't see that right now.
I think I
Sabina,
got
do you need more
everything from the start, but it would be nice if you can make
You'll have
some
to toggle to
pauses
English
in
first if you
between,
need.
Jenny, then it's easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
So that's great, Jenny. So you talked about it being omnipresent and
Also,
how it affects you and how it
geht
also
darum,
comes,
überall
stress
präsent
and
zu sein
stress and
und
pain
wie
are
dich
imposed on you as well
ja,
sometimes from the outside.
das berührt.
What else did you discuss?
Was habt
Am
ihr
I getting that at all correctly? Am I reflecting?
Yes.
It's very abbreviated,
Habe ich
but
das
yes.
richtig verstanden in Kürze?
So continue.
Also,
And
mach
then
weiter
the
gerne.
second discussion question, what is our response?
Die zweite
We
Frage ist,
had different answers.
wie ist
For
unser
one
Verhalten?
person,
Und da hatten wir
their
unterschiedliche
response was
Antworten.
to hyperanalyze the situation,
Also,
really
es
understand
war
all the
richtig,
ins and outs of it.
ja,
There was a little bit about
Überanalysieren der Situation.
associating blame in terms where is the fault, where is the blame.
Also nach der Schuld suchen, nach dem Fehler suchen.
For another person, their response to stress or pain was controlling.
Also
How
von
can
einer
they
anderen
control
Person,
the
die Reaktion
situation
war,
to
alles
the
kontrollieren
maximum?
zu wollen, ganz extrem.
And for them, it started off with control seemed comforting.
Also
But
erstmal
throughout
erscheint
the
Kontrolle
conversation,
wie Komfort.
that gave way to the control really wasn't comforting very much in the
Also wenn
long
ich
run.
Kontrolle habe, fühlt es
It
sich
was
an wie
initially
Komfort,
very
aber irgendwann schlägt es ins Gegenteil um.
And
Dann ist
then
gar nicht mehr
I
Komfort.
will own this. My response to stress and pain is to eat something and take a
Also
nap.
meine eigene Reaktion
When
ist
possible.
Essen.
Because I just feel rejuvenated and on a physical level.
Und
And
ich merke es
then I can look at
physisch.
the problem or in a better mind space.
Und ja, wenn ich dann esse
Thank you
und
so much.
schlafe, dann komme
And
ich
I
wieder in
think
besseren Zustand.
probably the interpreters need a little bit of time. Or do you need anything repeated? I can't see you, so I don't know why I keep coming.
You have the ability to pin them if you want to pin them again.
Yeah. Okay, there she is.
And Sabina is saying to repeat that last part.
Okay.
Sabina?
I just keep going to this partial screen. I would like to have the whole frame up, and I
Ich möchte
cannot.
gerne die ganze Gruppe sehen
Keeps
in der
changing.
Galerieansicht.
Excuse
Gerade.
me. And where is Manuel? Manuel, can you say something? Maybe I'll see you.
Manuel, kannst du was sagen? Dann weiß ich, wo du bist.
I can hear you, but I cannot see you, and I want to pin you.
Ich kann dich hören, aber ich kann dich nicht sehen.
Oh, maybe you haven't come out of your breakout room or something.
She's here. I can see her.
Ja, Manuel ist hier.
Manuel, if you raise your hand with the raise hand feature, it should bring you to the front screen, just briefly, so that Antoinette can find you.
Not yet. Oh, there. No, that's a different one. Sorry. Okay, maybe I can do it through the participant list.
Manuel, you could also toggle to English. And
Antoinette, she should be.
It would lift your video to the front.
Manuel, vielleicht kannst du einfach mal kurz auf Englisch gehen.
I see you on the participant list, but I cannot find you in the screen.
She raised her hand. So
Manuel hebt gerade die Hand.
Okay, hang on a second. We'll figure this out.
Wir kriegen das
My
schon.
apologies.
find her on the very first
Für die
screen.
Verzögerung.
Are you in gallery view, Antoinette?
I'm now back into speaker view.
Oh, if you go into gallery view, she should be the very first one because she's raised her hand.
Gallery view. Back to gallery view.
Okay, in der Galerieansicht sollte Manuel ganz vorne erscheinen, weil sie die Hand.
I am sorry. I will just try to remind people to slow down as best as I can, and I will look at Sabine
damit die
to see if it's going too fast.
Ja.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Jenny. And is there anyone who would like to report back from a pleasing group?
Wer möchte denn sprechen von der Pleasing-Gruppe?
Yes, I'm.
Oh, Penelope, hi.
I was
Thank you.
the record keeper, so I guess I'm also
Wonderful.
the spokesperson. So I'm aware, as we look at the questions again, that we didn't so much speak to the questions, except
wir haben
right
gar
at
nicht
the
so viel
beginning.
über die Fragen
What is so
gesprochen.
bad about the thing we're trying to avoid? And
Okay, and pause.
Also wir haben uns gar
I'm
nicht so
just
sehr
doing
darüber
that because
unterhalten,
I
was so
get
schlecht daran
carried away
ist, an diesen
like that.
Fragen, an diesen
Yes.
Lifestyles.
So whatever came up is fine. These questions were just to see what's it like to be with your
Also
own.
was immer hochkam, ist prima.
People are
Die
similar
Fragen waren
to
ja
you
nur als Leitlinie
in some way.
gedacht, um in die Diskussion reinzukommen.
yes, as mammals, we cannot survive without a group.
Also
And so to be
als,
rejected from that group
als
is
Menschen
not safe.
können wir einfach gar nicht überleben
So
ohne
that was a key.
Beziehung, ohne Gruppe.
And a lot of people related it back to their childhood.
Also viele
A lot
Leute
of us
haben sich
had
an
grown
ihre
up in
Kindheit
small
erinnert.
towns
Sie haben
where
in kleinen Städten
there hadn't
gewohnt,
actually
Dörfern.
been someone like us to be a real friend. And so one felt rejected by the other kids.
Und wenn man sich von anderen Kindern abgelehnt fühlt,
What we were all very aware of is that although Alexander work helps to make one aware of these old patterns,
also
it's
die
very easy to pop back to
Alexander-Arbeit
being a
macht uns all
five-year-old,
diese
as
alten
somebody
Muster
said
bewusst.
succinctly. And a lot of people had done a lot of therapy on it.
And slow down
Viele
again.
Leute haben wirklich eine Therapie gemacht zu diesem Thema.
And we're really trying to find their self-value and their centering in it.
Also
But
ihren
it's so easy to be triggered
Selbstwert
out
zu finden
because of the
und
childhood
sich zu
stuff.
zentrieren darin.
Yes.
And
yeah.
a quick poll, 9 out of 12 of us felt we were pleasers.
Okay. So someone got realized that they might have a different priority.
Also 9 von 12 hatten dieses
Yes,
Thema.
a couple of
Okay.
people said it wasn't to do with their childhood, but
Okay,
the majority
also
it was.
ein kleiner
Okay.
Anteil sagt,
But
es
whether
hat
that
nichts mit der
relates to
Kindheit
that,
zu
I don't know.
tun.
I think that's the summary of it, really.
Das ist so die Zusammenfassung.
Actually, that makes me think of a little bit more about this lifestyle priority concept that comes from that Adlerian approach.
Also das bringt mich nochmal zu dem Konzept, was hinter diesen
It's
Lifestyle-Prioritäten.
sometimes very difficult to choose which of the negatives you want to avoid.
Manchmal ist es
And we
ganz
have them
leicht,
all.
rauszufinden,
When you
welche von
really
diesen Negativen wir vermeiden wollen.
are in a pickle, sorry translators, when you are really on the spot,
Also wenn du,
it might really become clear.
wenn
But in
du
your day-to-day, you may
drin bist,
toggle between
in
a
diesem
couple.
Pot, dann wird
Commonly, well, there are many
Ob das
different
Liste bist.
permutations. So this is what I also resonated with, that the Adlerian approach is called individual psychology,
Also das
not because it's about people
nennt sich
by themselves, but it's
Individual.
because we are as people so formed by our connection to our community.
ja,
And you
Individuen
village example, small town
Beziehungen
example.
geformt
The
sind,
small town, the small community that we start in, which is our little tiny family.
Gemeinschaft.
Mine was 7 people, so not so little,
Also meine
but it's a very, very small sample
Wir
of
waren,
what the world is like.
aber das ist natürlich ein
And we make
davon
sense of that world very early on.
und wir fangen
And those early ways of
an,
saying, oh,
die
this is
Welt
not good.
wahr
I don't want this.
um uns rum ist,
And this I want
dann haben wir das Gefühl,
starts to is the seed of our becoming our own self, find ways to express what we want
also
and what feels good to us and what's important, all those things,
selber zu finden,
and also
finden uns
what we really don't want.
ausdrücken und wirklich auch zu
So to
wissen, dass
me, it feels like an emotional habit. It strikes me, and I've been striking myself, like, oh,
es fühlt sich
I'm doing this again.
wie
So
emotionale Gewohnheit an
in
und
that way, it's parallel
merke
for
mir selbst,
me
oh, ich mache das
to
schon.
the change approach that we have with Alexander Technique.
Und
Becoming aware
wir
of
haben
something,
so einen Veränderungsansatz mit der Alexander-Technik.
stepping back and saying, okay, this is happening, and I'm now talking as an Adlerian, this is happening repeatedly. This is a habit.
Und dann
What
sehen
am I
wir,
going to do
oh ja,
instead?
das ist eine Gewohnheit.
So that forward-looking, future-oriented, constructive
Also wenn
quality
wir
felt
diese
really
Qualität haben,
congruent
und zu gucken,
in both ways of approaching humans.
ja, das fühlt sich dann kongruent an, wenn wir Menschen so
And
betrachten.
then Alexander Technique, I felt, had such a wonderful thing to offer because
Und die Alexander-Technik ist so ein tolles Angebot.
we talk about coordination. It's about balancing our whole self.
Also es geht darum,
Not just
unser ganzes Selbst zu
our
balancieren.
behavior, not just our body, not just our emotion,
Unser
all of it together
Verhalten, nicht nur unseren
in one
Körper,
simple
nicht nur
choice.
unsere Emotionen, einfach alles.
So, sorry, that I can go on and on, but I would love to hear
Ewig weiter mit
from someone who is willing to speak up for the control group, maybe somebody who was in a different language.
Genau, wer möchte
Was
denn
anyone in the
der
German control or in the French
Kontrollgruppe
control?
sprechen? Vielleicht auch Deutsch oder
Or English is
Französisch.
fine too.
Aber Englisch,
Hi,
Englisch ist auch okay.
Antoinette. I am
Hi.
Meredith, and we were in the criticism and the ridicule group.
Meredith.
And I have a few things to share about what we observed.
Und ich teile, was
With
wir
regards
herausgefunden haben.
to our feelings towards criticism and ridicule, we fell into three main areas.
Also wir haben
The first were
drei
our feelings about being criticized.
Bereiche
And
rausgearbeitet.
we felt like even though
zu werden.
criticism can be helpful, sometimes there was a reluctance to receive it.
Also auch wenn Kritik manchmal
Yes.
hilfreich sein kann, gibt
So
es
there was
einen
the question of,
Widerstand.
is it solicited
Sie
or
anzunehmen.
unsolicited? If it's unsolicited, sometimes, very often, it had more of a negative feeling on us.
Also es
Even
kommt
solicited,
oder
it can
nicht
be difficult to hear
konstruktiv,
sometimes,
da
but
ist dann manchmal
primarily
ein
unsolicited would
negatives
feel hurtful.
Gefühl dahinter.
Oftentimes, there was an expectation to receive criticism, and that left a sense
Also
of
es geht
failure,
darum, ist
or
es
created a sense of failure amongst.
unaufgefordert oder
Pause a
aufgefordert.
moment,
bekommen die
because I realize I'm not really taking in what you just said. That second part, I was still with the first. So this is for me, maybe for the translator too.
Sure. I believe it was that for one, there was an expectation of criticism,
Also
perhaps through a pattern in life
die
that
Frage
really equated with a
ist,
sense of failure.
ob ich schon Kritik erwarte, wenn das quasi zu meinem
And
Lebensgefühl gehört,
those who
dann hat
have
Kritik immer
frequent
was zu tun
experience with
mit einem
criticism
Gefühl von
actually had to
Versagen.
develop a type of survival strategy to deal with it.
Wir entwickeln
To
dann
not be
natürlich
hurt by it.
Überlebensstrategien, um damit
Did
umzugehen.
you discuss the style of that survival strategy?
More or less in the
Okay,
second
but
question that you asked us to come up with. So
Ja,
other
über
than that, it was simply a
gesprochen, diese
statement of they've adopted a
Überlebensstrategie.
survival strategy.
Okay.
Then there were the two or three of us who are performers and are in that constant mode of being professionally critiqued.
Also dann hatten
And
wir
those have a great appreciation
die
towards
Leistenden, die
criticism. And I might say
Perfektionisten.
maybe a professional criticism,
Ja,
because they have learned to use that in a helpful way towards their
also,
work.
aber Kritik
And then
kann man
lastly, I
auch
feel there
lernen,
was a comment
mit einer
about actually
nützlichen Art
one
und Weise
delivering
vorzubringen.
criticism. Now, maybe I misinterpreted, but one person said that the Alexander technique made them more aware of stereotyping,
Also
but that
Alexander-Technik hat
it has
einige
not
aus der
actually gotten them away from doing it, but
bewusster
has
werden lassen
made them
über
aware of that. So
Stereotype.
maybe
Yes.
that was a type of criticism.
Okay.
So then we discussed what to do about criticism and ridicule, and
Also
the feeling of
dann haben wir noch
shame that
darüber
often came with that.
gesprochen, was das
And
macht.
there
Ja,
were kind of two
Scham
parts. One is, how do we interpret it?
ist ein Gefühl,
And
das häufig
how
auftritt.
do we interpret the delivery of the criticism?
Und die Frage ist, wie
And
interpretieren wir
I
die
think when
Kritik
it was
und die Art und
negatively
Weise, wie sie rübergebracht
received,
wird.
negatively interpreted, they felt the Alexander technique has provided tools to deal with that.
Und die Alexander-Technik
Inhibition has
ist
created
ja
an
mit der
ability to provide a sense of
Inhibition
equilibrium
super
and a
geeignet, um
positive
besser
frame
damit
of mind,
umzugehen
so that they could
ja,
offer the
einen
same to other people,
positiven Rahmen,
whether it's in day-to-day life
das,
or actually in the process of
das rübergebracht
of
wird.
being in a lesson with someone, having hands-on,
Also wenn ich in einer Stunde mit
So
jemand
that's
bin und Hands-on
basically
bekomme,
was the general consensus that, we
dann
can receive hurt or shame or judgment, but that we do
leichter
have a way out. It's not a one-time
Beurteilung
cure,
umzugehen.
but it's
It's a
an
process.
ongoing process. Yeah.
Yes.
Ja, es ist ein
Thank you very much,
fortwährender Prozess
Meredith.
tatsächlich.
Do you need anything repeated, Sabina or Manuel? Okay. So then we have one more group and one more invitation for the
Dann haben wir noch die
spokesperson for
Gruppe
the
Deutung,
significance group to
Significance
share what
Deutung.
you spoke about.
Wer möchte
And actually, let me interrupt myself because I might lose that connection with what you just said, Meredith. What you described was really a wonderful illustration
Ich
that
komme nochmal
this
zurück zu dir, Meredith.
this is not a typology. This is not who we are.
Wundervolle
It's how we
gegeben hast,
respond and how we operate.
weil das sind keine
And we
Typologie,
develop our strategies.
sondern
And
eine Beschreibung des
your,
Verhaltens. Und wir
your
haben
example of people who are
entwickelt.
dependent on criticism.
Und es gibt
It
Leute,
might still be hard to take, but you find a way to appreciate it.
und du kannst einen Weg
And
finden,
so it isn't that you are bound by what you avoid, but it does shape the path that you choose.
ja, es ist
And sometimes it
formt
might
den Weg, den
blind you or limit you to the other options that come less
manchmal limitiert es dich
that are
auch,
less
weil du andere Wahlmöglichkeiten nicht mehr siehst,
how do you call it, less familiar maybe,
die vielleicht
other strategies that might come very easily to someone who is
andere Strategien
a pleaser person, more in the
ganz einfach kommen,
pleasing as a choice. So they're old and they're habitual and automatic, but they're also very changing as we go through life.
Sie sind gewohnt, aber sie verändern sich auch.
So the significance group, is there a volunteer for speaking for what you discussed?
Bedeutung.
I don't know how many significance groups there were or control groups. So anyone who was a spokesperson,
Wer
please
ist ein Sprecher?
volunteer.
Bitte meldet euch.
Was nobody interested in avoiding lack of meaning?
Okay,
and
niemand,
the sense of being unimportant?
Antoinette?
Yes.
Hi, it's Carol.
Hi, Carol. Thank you.
I don't know if there was a designated spokesperson for our group.
Ich weiß nicht, ob es eine
I
Sprecherin gab,
arrived in
aber
the
ich melde
room
mich an.
rather late because of
Bin erst spät
device
in den Raum
issues.
gekommen.
So I will ask all my fellow groupies to help out if I go
Frage
astray in
mal
the
all
summary.
meine Gruppenmitglieder, das mich ergänzt.
But when we were talking about significance and just, you know, I guess the search for meaning, we talked a lot about, well, what it meant and its scope, whether it was to lots of people or to a small number of people. The conversation veered into contribution
and
how that
dann irgendwann
I think a lot of us thought that was a much more appropriate word, because significance, depending on how you look at it, can have a sort of almost an egotistical sort of view. And it became very clear to me, at least, as I was listening to this discussion rather belatedly, that people don't necessarily want to be famous.
Also
they just
Menschen wollen nicht unbedingt
could be one
berühmt sein.
person, could be a small number of people, could be their immediate circle. And perhaps it also boiled down to just respect, like being acknowledged and respected for the work that you've been doing or the actions that you've taken in your life.
Also
the responsibilities
die Aktionen,
that you
die
felt
ihr in eurem Leben
for
gemacht
making
habt,
contributions when
die
you were in a position to do so.
ja die Bedeutung haben oder die denen Bedeutung beigemessen
Again,
wird.
Carol, that was so eloquent.
Das war sehr
It was
Carol,
as if
danke.
you had been reading the handout that
Als
I
ob du das
had
Handout gelesen
to
hättest.
send you. If you, I think at some point Morgan will put my email in it. I created this based on Lynn Lott's work. And I was going to go over it at some point, but again, illustrated to me that some of these things have connotations, like actually the traditional Adlerian word for this often is superiority.
Mir gezeigt, dass
and we immediately have this sense of a person who wants to be superior, which is not really the case. You want to just have your work, your actions have meaning and importance and not be trivial. But you don't want to be trivial. And control, when I'm already giving it away. I was going to ask you to guess. Mine is control. I felt really self-conscious about that for a while. I did not like it, but I'm afraid it's true. And I still am negative about it, as you can hear.
Bei mir ist es Kontrolle
and significance and control are both competing with me. So we're all very different people. I had some others folks guess earlier and they thought I was a pleaser. I thought so too at some point.
Ich bin auch ein Pleaser,
all of these modes of operating are very individual. So I don't want you to feel like you need to study Adlerian
Verhaltensweisen sind alle sehr
psychology.
individuell.
But my hope for this workshop presentation is
Meine Hoffnung für diese
that you
Präsentation ist,
have a little bit of more insight in yourself, perhaps.
dass ihr
For me,
Einblick bei euch selber bekommen habt.
It's also been very helpful to realize how differently others who are not me
Und es ist auch unheimlich
and who don't
spannend,
see the world as I do
wie andere die Welt sehen.
interpret and experience.
Und
Actually, when I started preparing this workshop,
deren Erfahrung
I realized the example
als ich diesen Workshop
that I
kreiert
was
habe,
going to give was very much my habit,
habe ich gemerkt,
and
dass
that other people
Beispiele,
might
die ich
very
gewählt
well
habe, natürlich sehr
respond
stark
very
aus meinen
differently
Gewohnheiten rauskommen.
to a day with more things to do than you could possibly ever get done. This is where we started, right?
Also mein Beispiel am Anfang, du wachst auf mit mehr Dingen, als du
I
tun
remember a
kannst. Und
friend
das
of mine,
ist typisch mein Beispiel.
she and her husband went to counseling for their marriage.
Also
And the first thing
the
the person said, well, no, not the first thing. After the first session, the therapist said, get a cleaning lady. That's what you're fighting about. Get a cleaning
Freundin von
person.
mir hat sich scheiden lassen und das
So,
erste, was ein Therapeut sagte, war,
rather than doing
hol erst mal eine
lots of research,
Reinigungskraft.
which is what I would do, you might have a different way to deal or avoiding.
Also
We are all so different.
wir sind alle so unterschiedlich.
So I remember one time when I was walking with my son,
Ich kann mich daran
who's
erinnern,
now
irgendwann, als ich
33,
mit meinem Sohn unterwegs
and
war.
my
und
mind
er
is
ist jetzt
continuously
33 Jahre
going.
alt.
I am such a sucker for an idea or an impression. I get carried away.
Also,
And I remember him
eine Idee
walking
habe,
next to me.
dann hänge ich
So,
da so
and we
drin
weren't, it
und
wasn't like I was
abwesend.
interrogating. We were just having a nice time. So what is going on in your head? What are you thinking about? I think is what
Und
I
ich
said.
habe gefragt, was denkst du denn
I said,
darüber?
oh, nothing.
Und er sagt,
And I said,
nix.
really?
Und ich sage,
There's
was?
got to be something.
Du
And
musst doch irgendwas
nowadays,
dazu denken.
that was probably about 15, 16 years ago.
Das ist vielleicht
Nowadays,
16 Jahre her.
I'm practicing, actually, and I'm enjoying just walking outside and the air,
Und
the trees,
mittlerweile
nothing to
laufe
think
ich
about.
einfach gerne draußen in der Luft.
And Alexander technique has been part of helping me with that.
Und die Alexander-Technik war ein Teil davon, dass ich das
So
kann,
I'd like,
ohne
we have a
dass ich
few
da
more
Bedeutung
minutes.
suche und einfach nur die Luft genießen kann.
I could do something scary,
Ich kann etwas,
but I would like to ask you to,
machen.
if you have any more questions.
aber ich frage jetzt erstmal, ob
Scary for me, Catherine.
ihr mehr Fragen habt. Ach so, übrigens gruselig für
Possibly,
mich.
and possibly for some others.
Then no, don't bother.
Now it's kind of a challenge, actually. So, yeah, I think it's too much to go into comparing these various strategies. But
Also,
I'll read
es
to
wäre jetzt
you
viel, diese unterschiedlichen Strategien noch zu
how it goes.
vergleichen.
I'll give you an example.
Ich gebe euch
I'd
Beispiele.
rather have comfort than experience pain or stress, even if I have to suffer boredom, lack of productivity, laziness. What I really want is for things to be as easy as they look. I certainly feel that way.
The interpreters are asking for you to read.
Yeah, sorry.
They're asking for you to give it again, Antoinette.
Okay. I'd rather have comfort
Also ich habe lieber
than
Komfort
experience pain and stress,
als die Erfahrung von Stress und Schmerz.
even if I have to
Auch wenn
suffer
ich leide
laziness, lack of productivity,
unter fehlender
boredom.
Produktivität, Faulheit.
What I really want
Was ich wirklich will,
is for things to be as easy as they look,
ist, dass die Dinge so
to
leicht
be left alone,
aussehen.
to have my own space and pace. I don't want to argue.
Mein eigenes Tempo und meinen eigenen Raum und ich möchte nicht argumentieren
Pluses
müssen.
and minuses to each choice.
Pro und Contra für jede Wahlmöglichkeit.
So here are the comfort ones. Nobody more relaxing to be with
Also
until they
keiner
are discouraged.
mehr
And then no one can invite you to feel more stressed.
entspannt, mit der Person zusammen zu sein.
This is saying it very loud, and I'm not going to all four of them, but this is what's on the handout.
Das ist, was im
So,
Handout steht.
Catherine, I'm going to do the scary thing, just for the heck of it. But first, I would like you to, and I'll be happy if there are more questions and answers to stay after or in the coffee room, whatever place. I'll find it.
Antoinette, Peter raised the hand.
I can't see him.
Peter Nopes raised the hand.
Yes, Peter.
Only you asked if there were any questions, and I have a question, but your scary thing sounds more interesting.
Peter hat eine
Well, what's your
Frage.
question, and then I'll decide.
I'd like to know which group had the most people in it.
Yes,
In
I
welcher
would too,
Gruppe waren die
actually.
meisten
Thank you for that
Leute?
one.
Riley, do you have a sense of that? I really don't know.
Well, maybe we can research that and we'll post that somewhere.
Okay,
Or I'll let you know.
raus.
Or if it recorded how many were in each room.
There were 12, no, there were 18 in the significant room.
15?
18.
18.
18.
18 waren
The
im
control group all fitted on one page.
Also die
So there were probably 12 of
Kontrollgruppe
us.
passte auf eine Seite.
15 of us.
Okay.
15 waren
Comfort?
bei
Comfort
Kontrolle,
had
18 bei Significant.
11.
Okay. And pleasing?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So it's all
wonderful.
about the same.
That is wonderful. The first time I tried this out, everybody picked significance. It was a group of Alexander teachers, so I thought this could really go haywire.
Also das erste Mal,
But
als
the
ich das
meaning
gemacht
is,
habe, haben alle
okay, let
Bedeutung
me go
gewählt.
back
Es war eine
to
Gruppe von
where this
Alexander
comes
Lehrern.
from. In a family, it takes all kinds.
In
And
der
we get so
Familie gibt es
reactive
immer
sometimes to
alle,
people who
alle
do
Sorten.
things differently. We don't understand how they could not see things the way we do.
Wir verstehen einfach nicht,
So for
warum
myself,
wir die Dinge nicht so sehen können, wie wir sie sehen.
I hope to be more able to in how I respond to
Also ich hoffe für
my
mich,
fellow
dass
people,
ich
whether they're
ja,
students or
immer mehr in der Lage bin,
anyone
einfach
that
auf
I
die
deal with,
unterschiedliche Art und Weise zu reagieren,
with an
auf
open
Menschen, die
mind
anders sind.
and interest and curiosity. And for myself, because I am a control person, to be
bin
more
eine
kind to
Kontrollperson.
myself as well,
Und ich
for my
möchte
own self-criticism,
netter,
because I'm very
freundlicher sein zu mir
judgmental.
selber.
So I'd like you to take a moment
Ich möchte,
and
dass ihr euch einen Moment Zeit
consider how
nehmt
you feel right now
und guckt, wie es euch jetzt gerade geht.
about this, I don't know,
Über
hour and a half almost that we spent
diese
together.
1,5
What's
Stunden,
your
die wir
sense of yourself?
zusammen waren.
How do you feel? How are
Wie
you?
geht's euch gerade?
One word. Oh, and look, Sabine provided a wonderful thing that we're going to share. So
Also,
do you see on your screen
wenn ihr eure Handys parat habt,
a
dann
thing
könnt
called
ihr
menti.com?
öffnen.
At this screen share, it's pretty large on my screen, but it says menti.com, and I would like you to take your phone
Ich möchte, dass
or
ihr
or
euer
open a
Telefon nehmt
tab on your computer and put in menti.com.
und menti.com eingebt. Und dann könnt ihr den Code eingeben. Er steht oben auf
And for me, I'm going to really slow it down because
21 69
I am a
59
novice.
6.
Oh, some of you are doing it already. Wonderful.
Könnt ein Wort eingeben.
And then use the code if you're still looking. If you are anything like me, you would still be frantically looking. The code to put into that little space that already has numbers in it is 2169556. So some people are pretty comfortable at doing this
Ja,
and putting in words. It
also
doesn't have to be a unique
kommen
word.
schon Worte rein.
Whatever word came up for you is fine. And you'll see it
17
changing, which is kind of fun. Some of you may say, I don't want to do this, and that's fine. You can just watch how it works.
akzeptiert, Inhalt, mit mir selbst verbunden.
And if it makes you uncomfortable and you're trying still, don't
Ja,
worry. You can say
unkomfortabel,
frustrated. Doesn't
unangenehm,
all have to be
großartig, unterstützt,
unknown.
gesehen,
It's interesting.
öffnend, geerdet,
You can put
inspiriert.
in one more word if you like, if it's changing, it's possible.
Also ihr könnt auch ein zweites Wort eingeben, wenn ihr das nochmal
I have been doing networking meetings
frustriert.
online, which is not my comfort zone at all.
Also
Speaking in front of groups, not my comfort zone,
in Vorgruppen zu sprechen, ist nicht meine
because I can't
Komfortzone.
control how I come across.
Gedöns ist nicht meine
I'm a control
Komfortzone.
person. Well, now I'm labeling myself, aren't I? But it brings up quite a bit of anxiety.
Es macht mich
But
ein
I
bisschen
think
ängstlich.
for people who are on screens in large groups or even small ones,
Ja, Leute, die
they're
vor
often
Bildschirmen
not
sind, vor Kameras
very
sind,
comfortable. They're often people who are not comfortable to say, oh, I've got an answer, or this is a way for them to engage
dann gibt es Leute,
in
die
a,
gerne
once they know
direkt
how
gesehen
to use the
werden,
app,
die aber auf
in
diese
an
Art
easy
und
way,
Weise eben trotzdem
without
mitteilen
having to
können, wie
put
es ihnen gerade
themselves
geht
on
oder was sie gerade
stage, so to
denken.
speak. It's also
Also
pretty quick.
wir sammeln sehr, sehr schnell einfach ein
And it's kind of
Meinungsbild
fun
von
to
uns
see
allen.
where one has all been together. There are quite a few different reactions,
Ja, es gibt ganz
and it keeps changing.
gegensätzliche
So let's,
Reaktionen.
there's some symbols.
Ja, manchmal auch nur Symbole, Emojis.
You're way ahead of me. I don't know what that means. But let's just stop it here and close it.
Okay.
I wanted to introduce that to you,
wollte euch das
challenge
zeigen.
myself to give people instructions how to use IT, which is really ridiculous.
Ich gebe hier Instruktionen, wie man die Technik benutzt, ohne es selber richtig gut zu können.
And I want to thank you all so much for doing this.
Ich wollte euch allen ganz herzlich danken.
I'm absolutely happy to take questions in the coffee room or wherever we go.
Gerne in den Coffee
I'm actually on time.
Beantworte euch Fragen.
I'm surprised. And I have this handout. It may be interesting. This is a big body of work for people and a huge influence, like Alexander Technique.
Handout stelle ich euch gerne.
We have such influence and not much explicit recognition. So, thank you.
Für unsere Alexander Technikwelt eine ganz tolle Ergänzung und es gibt bisher noch nicht so viel Anerkennung.
It was my pleasure.
Ja, es war eine Freude. Vielen Dank.
The ATI knowledge parties, and I hope to see you all there.
Oh, there's no coffee anymore? Okay.
Morgan, can I ask how I would receive the handout again?
Okay, my email address is in the chat, I believe. It's AK at Kensington Alexander.com.
Kensington mit
So AK, my initials.
Yes, I see it.
At KensingtonAlexander.com.
Steht auch im Chat.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know. Oh, there you are. Hi, Meredith.
Right. I am now going to end
Und die
this
Frage
meeting
ist, ob
so we can
der
move on to our next one. So
Thank you so much, everybody, for your participation and all my support. I felt so supported.
A special thank you to you, Riley.
Jonas schreibt, sie kann den Kaffeeraum auch jetzt öffnen.
That was quite a feat.
Fiona is going to open the coffee room now, in case there's a desire for more discussion.
Oder nicht.
Thanks, Morgan.
Okay, bye everyone.
Fiona.
And how do we get into the coffee room?
If you go into your schedule and you
right.
click into one of the coffee hours,
Wenn
you
ihr
can just
auf
click that Zoom link,
die
even
Agenda
though
geht,
it's
dann
not technically coffee hour time, you can still use that Zoom link.
Coffee Hour und
Yeah,
da
Mary,
ist
you can
Breakout-Räume.
I want to kiss a camel. It looks like a camel, or is it a horse? It looks like, is it a horse? Excuse me, camel. I don't mean to offend.
Finally, do any of the coffee hour links lead to the same room?
Morgan, you sound, oh, probably because I'm still in my language channel. Will you repeat that?
Yeah, we had a question in the chat. Do all of the coffee hour links lead to the same place?
They do. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Morgan, I'll hand it over to you so I can leave. I have to open the knowledge parties green room, so I'll see you.
Thank you, Morgan, Sabine, Manuel.
Thank
See
you,
you
Antonia.
soon. Thank you,
You're
Riley.
welcome.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I never found you, Manuel. All right. Thank you.
What do we do
I
now?
don't know.
Where do we
We couldn't
go?
multiply. I don't
Where
know
do we
why.
go?
I don't know either. Some things stay mysteries in computer land.
So
Yeah.
if you'd like to
Bye-bye.
talk more, you can go to the coffee room. You can pick any of the coffee hours, the 8 a.m., the 3 p.m., anything today. They all go to the same room.
So how do